So, hello, Professor. We are Team 3, and my name is Jing Qiu.
My name is Fu Qihang.
My name is Wenling Lian.
My name is Tao Bai.
My name is Zhuo Renxie.
So, at the beginning of this semester, we have declared our investment policy statement. Basically, we said we will follow a flexible investment strategy in which we will be conservative at the beginning and aggressive thereafter, which depends on our portfolio's overall performance. As you can see from this pie chart, it shows our declared assets allocation, include 20% in bonds, 10% derivatives, and 70% equity. Our most recent assets allocation our security selection strategy was conservative, where we declared we will invest 20% small caps for large potential growth, and 20% blue chips for stable earning, and 70% negative beta to reduce the unsystematic risk. Our most recent allocation was pretty close to our IPS, and we actually rebalanced some assets proportion. For example, we reduced the proportion of derivatives from holding 10% derivatives to 2% derivatives, and we increased 10% of cash because we use the cash to buy European currency. Because we received the news like on recent days that Macron has become the French president. Which is we think it is a very favorable news to European currency because France may less likely leave European Union. And also another change is we didn't invest 30% of negative betas because the reason why we choose negative beta is we want to reduce the unsystematic risk. But currently the market went pretty well. Actually, U.S. stocks has increased significantly following the presidential election, with Dow Jones Industrial Average hits 21,000 to record high on March 1st, and S&P 500 index hits 2,400 to record high on the same date. That's why we didn't choose negative betas, because it will largely reduce our profit. One more change is we didn't invest 20% small caps because small cap stocks usually comes with very large risk. However, our strategy is risk avoidance. Compared with large cap companies, we were less familiar with those small cap companies. This slide shows our sectors and stocks. The strategy that we use to choose stocks is top-down analysis. To find the right stocks and sectors, the top-down analysis strategy is based on determining the health of economy and the strengths of different sectors, and then picking the strongest stocks within those sectors to maximize our returns. To find the best sectors, we looked each industry performance and the charts of sector ETFs in different time frames. We want those sectors we picked are not just performing well right now, but have been showing a strength, have been performed very well in a long time frame period. As you can see from this pie chart, there are 3 sectors we have selected and in our portfolio. And number of stocks that we choose is 34, and the number of stocks in each sectors are about 3 to 7 stocks. The largest 3 proportion sectors in our portfolio are consumer discretionary and consumer staples and information technologies. And next, my teammates will explain what we did in each of those sectors.
Okay, for this part, we will introduce some industry analysis, which is the step 2 of the whole process. is a top-to-down process. For this step 2, we found some very nice industries to invest, such as consumer discretionary, information technology, consumer staples, and so on. Why we choose this industry? The industry has a very nice investment environment for investors. First of all, over the last 5 years, the consumer discretionary has gained more than 121%, and it still keep growing. And then the President Donald Trump is going to reduce the tax rate, make more jobs for people, have more money to spend on the discretionary items. What's more, the economy began its recovery, which will increase the consumer confidence and disposable income. And the industry performance is higher than the S&P 500 performance. Like this chart, we can see the consumer discretionary, the performance is higher than the S&P 500, so this is nice investment for investors. For this industry, we choose the 9 company stocks, such as Amazon, Disney, Macy's, and Jingdong, and so on. And our group's total return is 2.72%. For this industry, it earned just 0.8% for us, which is so high, and also means this industry is a good choice for us. Okay, so next we will talk about how we choose these stocks. We just use 2 steps to decide which stock we will buy or sell. The first one is fundamental analysis, such as we will use like PE, PB, PC, and PC ratios. Also the degree of operating leverage and the degree of financial leverage, and so on. The second one is we will use the market position, whether the stock has the leading position of the market. For example, when we choose Amazon, we just know Amazon has some very unique competitive advantages. So like the first one, it has its own logistics, which is very unique. Also, it now reaches half of American households with 54 million subscribers as the Prime. In addition, the company has some new technologies like Echo and Alex devices, which is also an innovation technologies. So Amazon has a very strong competition. It is the case of the specific competition advantages that makes the stock price just keep growing. So we choose that. This is the chart compared with between Amazon performance with S&P 500's performance. We can see that the Amazon the performance is higher than the S&P 500's performance. So we just choose like this kind of stocks.
So now I'm gonna introduce the IT industry. So this picture gives us some general ideas about what kind of companies belong to IT industry, such as those companies who are doing the hardware, software service, infrastructure, information, and digital business. And why we choose IT industry? The first, number one reason is to reduce the unsystematic risk. So, and the second is because of the industry's characteristics, such as their strong growth. As we know, we all benefit from IT industry. From their new technology or new service, we have better life. So that's why also why the IT industry has the strongest growth in the world. And usually their strong growth bring them high PE ratio and high risk, which means high return. This is the industry performance compared with the S&P 500 during past whole year. And you can see their IT industry performance is always better than S&P 500 and even stronger later on. And this is Tencent's performance compared with Hong Kong Hang Seng Index. And this is Apple's performance compared with S&P 500. As you can see, those individual stocks always perform better than the market index. So, and how we choose stocks? First, we're going to decide to think about their market position, whether they are in the leading position, such as Apple and Tencent, because large corporations, they have less risk to go bankruptcy. And second is whether they have popular products or services, like iPhone, like WeChat. The third one is fundamental analysis to see whether they have the operating risk or financial risk. And the last one is there any event-driven, such as whether Apple gonna use their new technology on their new phones. This chart is a contribution to return. Actually, those stocks we choose Baidu, Tencent, Microsoft, Nvidia, Sina, Blizzard, and Apple. We have 7 stocks, and 6 stocks are under profit. Only Nvidia lost a little bit. So the total profit is 323,373.27 cents.
First of all, in recent decades years, there's a considerable growth in American economics, and we choose consumer staples because for these 3 reasons. First, over the past 50 plus years, consumer staple has the second highest return of any sector. That's because many companies has the sustained brand throughout the sector. The second reason we choose this sector because consumer staple has the second lowest volatility of any sector. It's likely driven by more consistent nature of demand for everyday staple items. The third reason is that emerging market consumers are also buying more discretionary items. This in turn further boosts spending on consumer staples. As income continues to increase in coming decades years, the growth potential for many stable companies in emerging markets remains a massive opportunity. This is the return of industry performance. We can get to know that it's always higher than the standard. And in the return of this sector in our portfolio is over 100,000. And we choose these 4 companies in this sector because there are 4 giant companies. And from this picture, we can get to know that Pepsi always kept consistent with the standard.
Hi, I will introduce the best stock we choose in this semester. This one is the Jingdong.com. We can say we buy the stock in at 29.79, and now the price is 35.34. Well, Jingdong is one of the biggest Chinese international company, internet company in China. Jingdong is just like the Amazon. They have their own storage, logistic company, and Jingdong IPO in 2013. And in this year, in last year, May 2, in this year, May 2, they report that Jingdong got the first profit from his operations. So we can say from the March 3 to the May 1st, his stock price continued to go up. And last year, Jingdong was cooperated with Walmart, and Walmart invested in Jingdong. Now Walmart has Jingdong's 10% stock. And Jingdong doesn't have any competitor in China actually. So we think Jingdong had very nice growth potential. Zhezhen is the biggest net communication company in China. We bought his stock in the 200.4 Hong Kong yuan. And now we can say the price is 243.4. And Tencent's product is very popular in China. They have a lot of customers now. There's no competitor with him. And last year he just issued a new games, and now there are already 200 billion times download, and 50 billion people are playing this game. So we think this company have very good growth potential. So we buy the stock and hold it. Well, now is the Lotte. Well, Lotte, we not buy the stock, we choose short the stock, because at that time, the February 28, the bad relationship between China and Korea, and Lotte also involved in a bribery scandal. So we think the stock price goes down. So we sell this stock at this point, 231,000 Korean won, and we buy the stock at 212,000 Korean won. And I think we got a lot of profit in the stock. Well, the worst stock we chose is the AT&T. We buy the stock at this point, the 41.12. At first, we think this stock price will goes up because we got news they will acquire the Time Warner. We think that will help the stock price goes up, but I think we got the wrong idea. The stock now is the 39.10.
The following slide shows our portfolio's performance compared with SP 500. As you can see, this the white line is our portfolio's performance, and the orange line is the SP 500. As you can see from the beginning, we were far behind the SP 500. The first reason is that we are not familiar with the Bloomberg operation, and we actually select a lot of wrong stocks sectors, and we also didn't adjust our assets allocation. But you can see from March 23rd, actually at this point, all of our assets, all of our money have invested into those sectors and stocks. And after we adjust our assets allocation, as you can see, our portfolio performance was pretty similar to SP 500. And until this point, our portfolio started beating beating the S&P 500, the reason for that is some China concept stocks performs pretty well, and we actually invest like a significant amount into those stocks. I think that's why we earn back, and our performance become like pretty much well. The key takeaways and the future improvements. I think there are at least three takeaways that we learned in this semester. The first one is correctly predict board market movement is more important than predict the trends for individual companies. And the second is that create a basket of investment that provide broad exposure within an asset class, such as bond, cash, equity, derivatives, which tell us don't put the egg into the same basket. So this is what we did, and we also did in our portfolio. The third takeaway is recessing portfolio weights periodically for some future improvements. And I think the first one is be more cautious when we declare our IPS. As I introduced at the beginning, we actually made some changes. So which I think, like, if you are our clients won't see us change our IPS, so we have to be more careful next time. Second improvement is include more derivatives and physical investments in our portfolio. Last one is monitor our portfolio more frequent and catch more short-term investment opportunities.